Let's get into it, folks. It's Zack Cimini here. I'm feeling well. It's a Tuesday here in Las Vegas. If you're listening to this recording on YouTube or watching this recording on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Last week, I gave free play winners on both of the college football games. I gave out Tulane. Whoa, you won't see another finish like that this year, probably in college football, that close to the edge and versus a spread. Shouldn't have happened, but sometimes that's how it goes. And then I also had a free play winner on USC, which it didn't look like with the quarterback not playing, Keaton Slovis, not what you actually wanted when you evaluate a game. But hey, the backup came in and he was throwing the ball over the field, and now USC has a decision to make there. So 2 free play winners. We'll see if I can get you another couple here at the conclusion of this. If you are listening to me on the podcast format, thank you for tuning in. Also subscribe. This on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Podomatic. Thank you for tuning in. I've been at this for years, and this is one of the things I think that I fell back on. I actually started off way back in the day with my college buddies, 2005, 2006, and I did it on and off through the years, through probably about 2012 podcasts with different buddies of mine. Always fun to just go ahead and go for it. These I'm doing solo, but I do talk to my buddies all the time. They give me the best perception on where I'm going to go with my plays, honestly, because you need to feed off of people when you're doing football picks. That's what I believe. Basketball and baseball, not necessarily as much, but those are my best times to do it in this business. And of course, I can't leave out John Cranton and Hollis Barnhart. We did some good videos, podcasts, 2014, 2015, 2016. And I definitely wanted to get back into it. I can't necessarily meet with certain people here in Vegas right now, but we'll see how it goes down the road, or maybe I'll do some video chats with certain individuals once we get to that point. But Twitter, I was kind of quiet this week on Twitter, but please hit the follow button on Twitter at Cimini. Very easy, at Cimini. I do post things here and there, whether it's bets that I play, opinions that I have, and usually it is related to the gambling world. So please subscribe to that. But where I wanted to go before I get into some free plays is discuss the trail of chasing. I kind of discussed this before on my YouTube channel, but being that we're going into week 4 of the NFL season, week 5 of college football, it's very important. I think people think you should be ahead of where you're at right now. For me, I know I'm not going to have the best of Septembers. I usually come out the gate very hot, which I did in college football, 3-1. NFL, I left one play off my premium board, but I should have been 3-1 there. It was 2-1. And then, of course, weeks 2, week 3, not going to be as strong. In fact, college football, I was 1-2. NFL, I was 2-1. You're going to get mixed results. But the problem with people is they see these super contest results, they see these parlays hitting, and they see these crazy tickets, and they think, oh, this is the week I should go for this, that, and the other, when it should be the opposite. Stick to your game plan. I know by the time I get to 6-7 weeks from now, there's going to be people that are going against the strategy I'm giving in my field that are going to start tumbling down because you start chasing. Maybe they want those extra sales. They're going to add an extra couple of plays just to get sales, and those aren't the picks that should be out there for people to buy. And it's the same thing with people betting. I see it all the time when I'm in the sports books. You don't need to add plays. Just stick to your game plan. You're going to have the weeks that you're going to have regardless. If you add a couple extra plays, those are just going to lead to tumbling results. And maybe you do have some good luck on that by adding that for 1 week, but it's not gonna be best for you long term. There's gonna be a week where you bet 6, 7, 8 games like you're seeing on Twitter with these parlays and these super contest selections going 5-0. You're gonna bet those plays, and all of a sudden your hard work from weeks 1 through 4, weeks 1 through 3, which may not seem like hard work because you're only up 1, 2, 3 games or down 1 or 2 games, could be destroyed in 1 week by just going crazy with a big expanded board. So for me, I know right now, sales-wise, I might not be the leader. I might not get sales for another 3-4 weeks, the sales that I would generate towards the end of the year, of course, but the sales that I'm getting right now, I'm very thankful for, and I know those customers know, and I know when I get to that point, I'll be ready here in 4 or 5 weeks, and then you may see me add an extra game or two like I did in college, or extra 3 or 4 games like I did last year. I waited till I got to a certain benchmark, 4 or 5 games above 500 in college football last year. All of a sudden, I put out a big board and went 7-1, and then you all of a sudden can go forward from there. But I'm not going to take hits unless I'm in a position to take a hit, and that's how you should handicap to get yourself profitable, how you should as a handicapper, etc. Actually, handicappers, I don't care what they're doing. You can do whatever you want to do as a handicapper, but for me, I know to get wins, that's what I do, and I'm going to continue to stick to that. I recommend that for if you're gambling online, gambling in a sports book, whatever that may be. But let's get into a couple of free plays. These aren't going to make my board, keep in mind, and sometimes they're going to win, sometimes they're going to lose. I know I mentioned my ones won last week. I think it's a little bit difficult this week on the free play board on the early games this week, but I will side with Penn State, Nittany Lions getting -6.5. I just think that Maryland team, they did destroy Syracuse. They do look like a fast-paced offense, but I just think they got set back down to earth against Temple, and I don't see them matching a Penn State team that, sure, they got tested against Pittsburgh, but this Penn State team is good on both sides of the football, and I think you look at teams that start to go upward as we get out of the month of September. Penn State is one of those teams that's going to keep getting better, while Maryland, maybe they did overachieve against Syracuse. A Syracuse team that's definitely not where they should be at this point, is not the team they were last year. They're going to take a little while to gel with the recruits that they have and the turnover they had from last year's seniors graduating, as we saw with Tommy DeVito. So I will say Penn State as a free play winner. Our second play will be ASU versus Cal. This one's very interesting to me. ASU is getting 4.5. And there's a lot of similarities here between what happened with USC and what's going on now with ASU. So USC, a couple of weeks ago, they were the underdog again. Or no, they weren't the underdog. They got a big win against Stanford. Then they were the favorite against BYU. They did not cover. They lost that game outright. And then what happens? They get the lines makers react to that loss. They make them underdogs at home against Utah, and then they win outright. So that's what happens, and it was largely due to the freshman quarterback, Keaton Slovis. He didn't play against the Utes. He got knocked out of that game, but still, that line was very factored into what happened those 3 weeks because it's a short window. Lines makers have to react to what they saw last, and I think it's the same thing with ASU. ASU was a big underdog with freshman quarterback Jaden Daniels, and they still got the win against Michigan State. Very sloppy win, but they got the win. Then they last week lose to Colorado as big home favorites. So now they go against the undefeated Cal Bears that have a senior quarterback in Chase Garber. Jaden Daniels once again is going to be under the spotlight. And can he bounce back from his first loss? They obviously didn't look as strong as we thought on defensively against Colorado, but I think this is the game. This is a matchup that bodes to ASU's advantage based on the defense and the tempo of both teams. We know based on the total of 40 that the tempo is going to be a little bit slower, a lot of punts, probably some field goals, and both defenses are going to stop each other. And I think you look at ASU, they're a well-coached team regardless of what happened against Colorado. Obviously, the game plan didn't go as they would hope, but they were able to adjust. Being down 14-0, they were able to adjust and make it a game, and they just couldn't get enough done in the second half with that late turnover. Regardless, they weren't going to cover that spread, but they could have got the win if it wasn't for that late turnover with the interception. So I think they bounce back. They'll put their quarterback in better spots as the season goes on. He's going to be their long-term starter as a sophomore, junior. And I think Jaden Daniels will come to show, and you're going to see a lot more of Eno Benjamin, especially in a game